Hi, welcome to Empowered Spirit Healing. My name is Paula, and today we have a very special guest. We have the beautiful Katie Jane, who is also known as the Frequency Nurse. How are you going today, Katie?
I'm wonderful, thank you. How are you, Paula?
I'm doing really well, thank you. I'm so excited to talk to you today because I've met you through a mutual friend, and I'm just blown away by how much knowledge you have and the amazing healing journey you've been through. So I really wanted to get you on my channel to just talk about, how you got to where you are today and all of the amazing modalities that you've learned about and how they help you, because I just feel like this is really important knowledge to be sharing with everybody. So, would you like to start with maybe perhaps maybe when you were little, what your childhood was like, and then what kind of drove you to get into healing work?
Yeah, absolutely. So, thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh,
I
no problem.
always believe that people come into our lives for a reason.
Yeah.
And the minute I met you, we were so aligned with that energy, and that's the part of my world now is, energies and frequencies. But where did all this start? Wow. So you can probably hear my accent. I'm English. I've been in Australia since I was 23. I met an Aussie over in England, and the rest is history, really. I was with him for a long time. So, where did my journey start? Well, as a child, I don't really remember a lot about my childhood, actually, interestingly enough, but I was a very, very homebody. I was a very child that was very sensitive, very, very sensitive, very caring. And I can remember from a very early age, all I wanted to do was work with children. I went to the Sunday school. I was always doing things like that. Not that we were very religious, but we lived in a village and my mum was a nurse. So it sort of lent itself. Maybe I modelled my mother. I don't know, but I think it was always in me. I wanted to actually build a children's home. That was kind of my dream when I was little.
Oh.
And so, yeah, I stumbled into nursing. I went to London. I followed my mum. I didn't want to go. I wanted to stay and live at home forever, Paula. I was not that child that wanted to ever leave my mum and dad. And my mum said, "You've got to go to London and do your training. It's a much better training. Get a good experience. You can't stay living here." And I now know as a mother, as I'm sure you can relate, Paula, is that's kind of a hard thing. I've just had my oldest daughter leave home last year, and it was devastating to me. So to have parents who were prepared to push me out of my comfort zone and into a training in London, I'm in awe of them now for doing that. And look where it's ended me. I probably wonder whether they should have done because I ended up over the other side of the world, but it was all meant to be. So yeah, I trained in London and I came over here when I was 23, went straight into oncology. I did children's nursing at the end after I finished training,
Okay.
and I did oncology and renal and general. So we had a massive unit in London, and came over here and looked for a hospital with children and ended up at the local Princess Margaret. But my passion back then was oncology. I liked the cancer nursing. I felt very drawn to helping people in that sense. And they had a unit here in Perth, and I applied. I didn't need any special training here. And I worked in that unit for 30 years. Didn't go anywhere else. There wasn't anywhere else to go. Didn't need to go anywhere else. And so I was very much fixed in a medical model.
Mhm.
I didn't really have any reason to step outside of that model. Although I did have a GP when we were children who, Dr. Rose, and back in the day we had one doctor, if you remember. I mean, I'm 56 now, so a long time ago we had that family doctor, and he was a lot to do with homeopathy. He loved homeopathy, but he
Yes.
treated both. So I always loved that element of it. I was drawn to it. And I was just doing my nursing, giving chemotherapy, having good days and bad days and everything in between. But I loved it. I loved what I did. But one day somebody introduced me to a natural product, and that kind of, I didn't want to look at it, honestly. She wouldn't give me the name of what it was. I thought it was a bit secret squirrel, and I thought, what's this, snake venom you're trying to get me to have? Because, I wasn't really into it. I didn't really take any medications really, the odd multivitamin, but that was it. But then I saw her change. I saw her come and into my house one day, and she looked different and she looked younger, and I thought she'd actually had Botox, but in fact she had taken this tablet which was herbs synergized together, that had helped her with a carpal tunnel. And I had arthritis at the time, Paula, and I was waiting for, the doctor to see an immunologist because they were going to put me on some methotrexate, which is a chemotherapy drug, to help with that. And my mom, the genetic pool, we're led to believe that, oh, we got that from my mom and we can't change that. And there's that understanding that that's just the way it is. Oh, I've got the bad gene, whether it's the heart gene or the cancer gene or the high blood pressure gene.
Yeah.
And mom had, bad sciatica with arthritis, osteoarthritis, and that's kind of where I was headed. And so I kind of went, well, if it's helped you, do you think it might help me? And I kind of took the bottle off her and I sat reading about that all night, actually. I was actually horrified and quite annoyed that nobody had spoken to me in my nursing career about nutrigenomics, about genes being able to be expressed up and down, that we have pathways in our body that switch off when we're about 20 and we don't no longer can create our own antioxidants. I didn't even know what a free radical was. And so, when you're in the medical world, and I'm not here to knock the medical world, but there is certainly a different way, and they don't know. We're just taught a way. You come into hospital, you go to your doctor, you get checked, and you either come out or you don't. You get treated, or you don't, or you're given a tablet. And then there's no looking into your lifestyle, looking into the ways we can supplement our bodies to switch on pathways. And so I took this tablet, and within weeks my joints all cleared up. And I became, I guess, very passionate that people needed to know.
Yes.
And that was really what it was about for me, Paula.
Yeah.
It was really about people need to be educated that there's a different way, and to be proactive with our health, not reactive. So let's not wait to see a doctor or get sick and then go to a doctor and then need the treatment. Why don't we have a look at being proactive in our care? So that's a long way of saying from childhood to now. That's kind of where my journey started, with looking outside of the box of the narrative that I knew growing up from a child all the way up to being 40 when I bounced into this product. And I helped them share that with the world, and that's where I started to think differently about health and look into the holistic space.
Wow, how amazing. Yeah. And so from once you had that product and you started taking that and noticed all the difference, where did you go from there? So was that something that was that supplement a company that you joined up with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my friend who introduced me said, well, would you like to join? And I said, join what? Okay. I didn't really even know that there were companies around. And yes, I knew about Tupperware and, and Enyo. And I said to her, gosh, all these years people have been trying to get me to sell these, because if I'm passionate about something and it works for me and is helpful, particularly with health, but even with Enneamoms, like I could have sold all of that, but I was working full time, I had children, I was doing night shift, I wasn't interested, I didn't need another job. And so when she said, can you join? I said, well, I'll just send them to you. She said, well, it is an income and it's a job and you can make money. I said, no, I don't need to do that. I'll send them to you. And she said, no, actually, we need someone like you who is, got some medical side as well that can, show that there's a different way. So I said, okay. And it was my birthday. And I said to my husband, can I buy a pack? And he said, what's that? And what is it? And he'd started taking it as well. And it was helping his migraines, disappeared. So he just went, yeah. So we got this big pack with all these products in. And I became one of the top leaders in the company. And it was a product that had been around for a long time. It was a very stable product, 20 years. And obviously they've added on different things, but I won trips to Croatia and America and skiing, and I was on a leadership panel, and I, got flown around and just spoke about my passion about trying to help people understand that we need to look at different ways to stay well. Yes. And get better. We're not treating and curing diseases, but if we can get our bodies to switch back on and activate them, we don't have to accept that genes were delivered to us as that beautiful baby that we were. We can actually down-regulate bad genes. So many people don't even know that.
No, they don't even realize that you can actually prevent so many of the illnesses. And it's so sad that so many people just think, well, getting older, it's just normal to get things like arthritis and
Yeah,
to just start to age. I mean, even the aging process is
yeah,
not actually natural at all. It's so many of the toxins in our environments not getting enough nutrition in our food. And look, I do believe, like you've said as well, that there is a bit of a danger with over supplementation, and that is
definitely.
definitely a concern. But also, I do feel like we do need to supplement a little bit. You've just got to be careful about what you're doing, because unfortunately, there's no nutrition left in the food anymore. There's the water's got chemicals in it that are not supposed to be in there, and all of those things, plus the stress, and so many of us are in
Yeah,
survival mode all the time, and we just got so much pressure on us. So all of that ages us
yeah,
and causes
absolutely.
us to have so many different problems, inflammations, and all of that. And then that causes health problems. And then people just think, oh, that's just normal. That's just part of
That's it.
getting old.
I'm
But
just getting, no.
it's so sad because so many people suffer. And
And
so I
so many
think,
things linked to chronic inflammation. Like
yeah,
chronic inflammation is the root cause of 99% of disease. How about we look at reducing the inflammation by looking at our diet and taking away inflammation foods, taking out a gluten out of our bodies,
yeah,
taking sugar, dropping sugar down. There's all these things that we can do. And like you say, stress. You look at your lifestyle now. I mean, I honestly, Paula, before any of this, I didn't even look at the toxins in my cupboards. I didn't even look at the shampoo that I was putting on my forehead that went 6 seconds and it was into my brain. Like all these things that we take out of our cupboards. We've got people off. I had a lady who was nearly going for a thyroid out, and I said, let's just back off here. Let's just not quite go for that yet. Let's see if we can get the load off you, get the oxidative stress down in your body, give you some supplementation that might be able to switch a pathway on that will help you make your antioxidants. And boom, she never had a thyroid out. She lost, I think, 80 kilos in weight. And she's
wow,
now a fit and healthy grandma, no longer in a wheelchair. Now, that was somebody was going to take a thyroid out. And we know that if we take the thyroid out, then we need thyroxine. Then we go from Hashimoto's to Graves and all everything in between. And the doctors just go rushing in there to find a solution. But what if the solution is looking at what's in your cupboard? Let's start with that. So it's not just about supplementing, but you're right. The soil isn't even got the right nutrients in it now. Everybody should really be taking a really good, product that's going to put back the minerals in our bodies.
yes,
And then we get onto stress. We could have a whole conversation about our
yeah,
nervous system. So yeah, like we're here to educate. That's what I was doing basically, is educating on people on how to show up, even the blue zones in the world. We could have a
yes.
whole conversation on the blue
Oh
zones
my gosh,
and what
yes.
makes people healthier and live longer. Like we all want to live as long as we can, but we want to
Yeah.
live healthily.
With a high quality of life.
Quality.
Nobody wants to be living a long time when they can barely even move and enjoy their children or their grandchildren. Yeah,
And
so
and people say to me, like I saw someone recently and they went, I haven't seen you for 5 years and you don't even look any different. I think you look younger.
yeah, I know. You do not
Like,
look your age at all.
and I look after myself. Do I eat organic? No. No, I don't. We have all limits, but
Mhm.
there is little things in our life that we can do. And that's,
Yeah.
I'm not even a good meditator, but I meditate by walking on the beach. People go, oh, I can't do meditation. I got a crazy mind. Well, just walk on the beach and the answers will come to you. Go into Mother Nature and put your feet on the ground. Like nobody told me about grounding.
Yeah.
It's just such a joy that somebody came through my door with that bottle of tablet, really, that I didn't want. And I said yes. I made a choice to say yes. I will look at this, not go to the door because that's not where I am. And if we can change one person's life one at a time with some small information about how they can show up better just with inflammation, then they're
Yeah.
going to feel better. And you're like, anti-aging is a massive industry, as you would know. There's so much out there now. Then people are confused with,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
what do I need to take? And it's expensive. There's a
Yeah.
lot of expensive products out there that, they need to be long term as well. So a lot of people they want a quick fix.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, people want to take something and they want it to work straight away.
Yeah,
And
but it's got to be a holistic thing. And so that's why, like, I think supplementation can be an important part of it, but it's only a part of it, you know. There's so much more. And I mean, look, I'm like you with the meditating. I always struggled with it a lot. And so then I mainly do, like, I do a breath work meditation before I go to sleep, and then that just helps to quieten my mind, and I go to sleep quite quickly after that. Whereas before that, I would just, my
Yeah.
mind would just be going, going, going. And then I started to create some meditations on my YouTube channel last year. And they're all kind of guided meditations where you're focusing on something, like breathing in a particular light frequency, or, you know, the different parts of the body and stuff like that.
That one's the work for me. I like
Yeah,
a guided meditation. I like
same.
someone to be talking to me and they're taking me into an experience and,
Yeah.
floating away. And it's, it's everybody's different. Some people like to just sit and be still,
Yeah.
like
And if
everybody
that works for them, that's great.
find your way, right? Is what works for you. And there's so much out there now
It
that
is.
can help us. It's just time. People, and I use the excuse as well. I haven't got time, I haven't got time. But,
Mhm.
we have to make time for certain things. And it doesn't have to be hours and hours of meditating or hours and hours of,
Not
you
even
know,
5 to 10 minutes. I
yeah,
mean, like my breath work one I do before I go to sleep, it's literally 10 minutes, and I do it as I go to sleep. I say goodnight to everybody, go to bed, play
yeah.
it, and then I fall straight to sleep afterwards. And that way, I don't even really have to fit it in because I'm
No,
going to
it's
bed
part of,
anyway. Yeah.
yeah, and it's all like it's all to do with routine,
Yeah.
which has never been my forte. Routine, habits, and patterns.
Hmm.
So once we get into a pattern of this, and that can take 66 days to create a pattern.
Yeah.
And also, don't forget, it took our bodies quite a long time to get to where it was. It
Yeah.
takes a little bit of time to rewind it, actually not as much, but we have to be gentle and patient with ourselves. I mean, I've been in this world with this sort of concepts for 7 years now. So
Hmm.
I'm 7 years in, and I'm, no perfect model of a, human being, but I definitely look better, feel better. If you saw photos, I'll have to show you one day,
Yeah.
Paula, of the difference. There's just a lot of shifts for me, and it hasn't been, dramatic, but it's just small bits that can help people show up better, because really we want to be joyful. Life should be joyful, really, and healthy. When you do surveys and you say to people, what is it most important to you? They say, I want to be happy and I want to feel good.
Hmm.
And so we can, offer some solutions to that, or different solutions to different people with what they've got going on. And that's kind of why I said yes to that company, I suppose, and did that
Yeah.
for so long. And, I still do take that product. It's probably the single one that I always will come back to.
Okay.
And never, I don't think I'll ever stop taking it. And look, I'm in a different company now with different products, not their main thing, but I take a couple of those because they're nano now and they're a little bit different. But, I'll still give somebody a link for that if I think that they need it, based on, I don't just do it for the company I'm with or to make money. It's actually what's right for that person in the moment.
Yeah.
And how much they can afford, and where they're at, and that sort of thing, because that's what's important to me, is to help people feel better.
Hmm.
you know
Absolutely.
it's what we all should be aiming towards, really, is to stay healthy, and
Yeah.
particularly when we're mothers. It's a hard gig, right?
Yeah.
To
Yeah, it's
work.
pretty full on.
Yeah.
So you were really quite big in that company for a while there. And so you're not doing as much active work with them now. So
No.
what kind of, did you just kind of slow down with it, or did you go into something else?
Yeah, so I guess it became too much,
Okay.
and that would be my fault. I take ownership to that, because I just helped anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
I didn't care whether they're my team or if I was making money from them. And so I just got burnt out, Paula. And I had young children at the time, and stuff. And I had a baby when I was 45. So that was
Amazing.
in the middle of all that. And two older children, and working night shift at the time, and
Wow.
throwing this into the equation. And I just got a
Wow.
little bit tired of the industry. You'd reach a certain rank and they go, well done. Well, where's the next rank? And I just got
Wow.
overwhelmed with it. And I just decided, I went to Croatia with the trip, and I thought they'd had a change of management. I just went, no, it's not for me anymore. I'm just stepping out. Am I going to stop taking it? Absolutely not. Will I still show people? Yes, but I'm not showing up to team calls every week. Like
Yeah.
it can be, that industry can be very overwhelming. They want to keep you in there. They want to give you Zooms every Sunday, every Saturday, and every week you got a team call. And then I was training online. I was doing a lot of training for the whole team. And I just said, no, that's enough. So I just kind of stepped away, much to their upset. But I still love them. I still have a great relationship with them, and they've actually just brought a product out which is a lot to do with really massive health and weight loss and stuff. And I've jumped back in just to say hello, and I'm taking that and trialing it for you. And if you need any help, I'm happy to share my experience. But yeah, so that's kind of, I stepped out of that, and I didn't really want to do anything else, to be fair, until somebody said, "Oh, will you look at this?" And I'm like, "Wow, no, I don't want another team, and I don't want another." But that was where Solex came into my life, and that was bioresonance scanning, and you can imagine, like, there was a pull for me to step outside of the medical world into a product, but then they were asking me to look at quantum physics and scalar technology and Teslas and Einsteins, and saying, well, I can scan you from here, and you can, and I'll tell you what's going on from you energetically. And I'm like, what? Like, are you all mad? Yeah, I was mad. And of course I said yes to the scan, and it wasn't even in Australia. It was in the US, and they weren't even thinking of opening Australia, but it was around the area of our lives with the COVID, where there was a lot of people that needed support, right?
Mhm.
And so I had to scan, and I didn't really look at it. It was quite complicated. I listened to the music. I thought that was great. It did calm me because there's a voice component to it. And then a month later, I had to go to the dentist. I don't know if I've told you this story, but I'm in English, and it horrifies me. The dentist hadn't been for 20 odd years, and I thought I better go. And, it was a bit hectic, but I came back and I spoke to this friend. I said, "Oh my God, I've been to the dentist." And she said, "Why didn't you look at the scan that I did a month ago? That might have given you some indication what was going on." I said, "What? My teeth were in there?" And so I actually said to her, "Well, I'm actually going to test you out now. So could you pull that scan up and tell me what I had done today?" And I was in there like a lot.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh," she looked at it and she went, "Oh, that's red. And looks like you might have a bit of a problem with that tooth. Did you have a filling in that one? And goodness me, your inflammation is a lot around have you got gingivitis? Did you have," and it was bang on. So I had all this inflammation in my gums, and I needed a filling. And I said, "Okay, I'm awake now, so send me the information." And that's kind of where it all started. And
Mhm.
that was nearly 4 years ago this September, so 3.5 years ago. And now I scan people in my room here, but I've become an energy and frequency just nutter, really, because we're all energy, and we're all frequency. And again, it was that annoyance, Paula, that I didn't know that emotions were anywhere attached to dis-ease. So energy in motion, energy in motion is dis-ease. And you can hear it in the words.
Yeah.
It's the balance of where we're at. And every single atom, cell, molecule in our body has a different frequency. And, we can assess that by looking at the energy and frequency of our bodies to see if we're showing up okay. And if we're not, we can see that, and we can add things, frequencies in. It's a tool actually to stay balanced and well. So I kind of ended up going, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then I ended up with a team called the Quantum Angels. So I've become quite into the quantum world, and a different way, I guess.
Yeah.
And the stories I could tell you about how I've helped people from, next door to, Ireland, and helping someone, with pregnancy after lots of years of infertility.
Wow.
Anything is possible, right? And that's what I do now. But it's a lots of different ways to stay well, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just guided towards where I need to be. So that's where I'm at right now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's just so incredible, isn't it? And yeah, so I mean, so that's how I met you. So our friend Tash, So my daughter goes to school with her daughter, and Tash and I hit it off, and she told me about Solex and about the scanning, and she barely even mentioned a little bit about it, and straight away I was like, I want that. I don't like. I'm like, that is amazing, because I was just sitting there. We were just having a chat about some things and having catch up, and then she's like, oh yeah, I'm just scanning my daughter, and she's at school. She's had a bit of a bad morning, so I'm just going to scan her, and I'm like,
What's she
what?
doing?
I was
Yeah.
like, that is amazing. And then she's just started showing it all to me. And then we called you. And then we're like, oh my God, I've got to
Yeah.
meet you. And yeah, so I've actually joined up as well. And it's just absolutely incredible. Absolutely amazing what it can do.
And such a tool, right?
Yes.
The idea of the whole concept of Lauren Swenson, who brought this to market,
Mhm.
was, and I'll tell you the story if you've got
Yeah,
time.
yeah, absolutely.
And he's just such a heart-driven man. When
Yeah.
you even just watch him, you just go, oh, you can just feel his energy, right? We all know, like, if you don't know about energy and you're thinking what these girls rabbiting on about, we walk into a room and we can feel energy, right? We can feel something's off. We can feel it in
Yeah.
our tummy often, and that's energy. Like, we're all capable of all of that, right? And so when you listen to him talk, it's the same. You can tell that he's legitimate and he's honest. But his story goes way back to when he couldn't have children himself, and his wife and him wanted children, and they were a bit older, and they were declined foster adoption,
Oh,
because they were
really?
too old and they didn't have enough money or something around that. I can't quite remember, but he then got the phone call to say, well, we've got a special needs child that we can't home. Would you take him? And of course they jumped at it, and it was their son, and he had cerebral palsy, and he was only a little baby, and they loved him as you do any baby.
Yeah.
And then when he was a toddler, he couldn't walk, and so they went to the doctors, and the doctor said, well, sorry, he's got cerebral palsy, there's nothing we can do. And so Lauren, his wife, decided not to accept that, which
Yeah.
is the way we should be thinking. So he
Exactly.
traveled all around the world, and he found bioresonance, and he developed the theta chamber. And there's a lot of story in between all that, but the theta chamber was a chamber that he shipped over, and he put this little boy in this theta chamber when he was like 4 by then, I think, and going to this school with special needs. And they put him in this spinning theta chamber, huge thing, and it was all to do with your neuroplasticity. So there was this thought that if we can change the neuroplasticity and make it, into a better left and right, more central, it might be able to help some of his symptoms. And so anyway, he did it, and within weeks, the teachers were going, what have you done to your son? And he said, well, I've
Wow.
got this theta chamber, and they all the children were then going into the theta chamber for free. And so that's where the story started. And Michael's now, I think he's nearly 48, and he's speaks
Oh,
5 languages.
like a
He's
completely different
taekwondo, like
person.
taekwondo's, but like he actually got almost like his disability is not a disability anymore.
It's
And so
incredible.
Lauren went, and he has clinics over there, like he's got his wellness clinic with all this stuff in. But he went, well, I need to get this into the hands of people. How can I put this as a tool that everybody can have in their home, as a tool to stay well, to stay balanced, not treating and curing, but we can help with symptoms, right? And if we just balance ourselves every day, what's that going to look like? So he did. That's where, and when I started, Paula, we had like iPads to buy, and like it was quite expensive to join. And he's overseeded that because he couldn't keep up with these devices, and
Yeah.
because he's adding to it all the time. We've got cats and dogs in there and horses, and I think actually this week there's going to be something even bigger coming. When
Oh,
I started, it's got bigger and bigger.
yeah.
But the truth is, this is a handheld tool on your phone. It's a
Yeah.
subscription that you just pay for every month, and you can put it on your phone, you can put it on your computer, your iPad, whatever you want. That's
Whatever
why I
device.
actually
Yeah.
sit there with you having a lunch and go, oh, I'm just scanning my daughter, because I did that for my 18-year-old who's just finished her uni. She's quite an introverted, anxious girl, but high achiever and very bright. And she would take it to school in her bag. She would send herself a list for accelerated learning, calmness, confidence, love, and she would run that while she was playing. And she came out with, she was in the paper for one of the top 100, scores out
Yeah.
of
That's
anyone. She's amazed
Wow.
me herself. My little one will scan herself in the morning and put
Yeah.
her water on her computer and on the iPad in breakfast and put, oh, today I've got a test, I need this, or oh, I've been bullied just today, I'm going to put love into it. And it's taking control. It's allowing our family to take control themselves, especially the kids. I mean, Lordy, I've been through three teenagers and they don't want a bar of us. But
Yeah.
started this, you can imagine they're like, oh my God, what's mom doing now?
I know my daughters are like that. They're like, really, Mum? What are you getting
Really? What
into
are we
now?
doing now? Is this like woo-woo world? And now
Yeah.
I'm like, I've got a whole room with, angels and crystals and, but I tell you what, my husband, who's a CFO head brain corporate, who's like, whoa, he will phone me up and say, text me and go, I've got a headache. Can you run a frequency?
Oh, wow.
So they all know it works. Like yesterday, I told you,
Mhm.
little one woke up with a terrible nosebleed, and she has them, but it gushed and gushed, and I even said, "Oh, I think we might need a hospital visit." And I hadn't, because of the panic, I hadn't even gone to the scanner because I'm too busy pinching noses and calming the farm down. And then I found the homeopathic phosphorus for it, and I just thought, oh well, I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll try it because our bodies will only accept a frequency that they need, and they're going to help us. And 5 minutes, it was literally stopped and it's never started again, and it was flooded out. Now, whether that was going to happen or not, who knows? It doesn't matter. But if you have a tool that you can go to, like Tash was sitting there, sending frequencies, helping the situation because we can, then why would we not? And yes, the cost is the cost, but you actually share it with 3 people
Well,
and then you get it for free every
absolutely.
month. They
Yeah.
stay active. So I just say to people, I'll help you get 3. Bring 3 people you think might need this in the home, and let's be honest, everybody needs it.
Yeah.
And we have naturopaths that use it now. Do you know in one country now, it's in the hospitals. Mic drop.
Wow.
Country has gone. I can't remember. It's Puerto Rico or somewhere around there, Mexico. They have all taken it on. And if you think about it, Paula, MRIs and all that are frequency.
Yes.
Whoever questions when you open your car door with your remote control, do
Mhm.
you ever say, well, how does that work? No. When you pick up your phone and ring someone in England, how does that work? Frequency. Your electricity is frequency. So it's no different.
That's right.
Find the person based on their blueprint.
Yes.
Oh, you're not, we're only, once that umbilical cord gets cut, then we are a blueprint of only us.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
so,
it's like tuning into the radio station or into
yes,
a channel, a TV channel, but instead of pressing the radio channel, you using the information such as your height, your weight, your date of birth, and your name,
yeah,
and then that's tuned into that person. So it's just incredible. I mean, I've been sending frequencies to my friend Brice, who I work with at the Esoteric Academy, and she's all the way in the US, and
yeah,
I'm sending her frequencies and stuff like that. And then obviously my girls. So,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've only been joined up for about a week and a half now.
Like you're already talking the language, like you.
Yeah,
I
I know
can.
I'm crazy, but I'm just so excited about it, and I just think it's so amazing. It's not very often that I'll really get into something like this, and it's just blowing me away. But like last week, my little Scarlett, she was starting to get a bit of a cold, mainly just with the runny nose and stuff. So
Yeah,
then I just made up a little cold playlist, and I just kept sending her the frequencies to help her with the cold and everything. And I mean, I can't believe it. It didn't turn into a cold.
yeah.
She just literally, her just nose was just a little bit runny, and then literally the other day it turned into like kind of green snot. So I was like, oh, okay, well, it's getting better then, because I know that once it turns green, that means it's near the end of it. And yeah, she's been really, really well. I'm just blown away by how much it's working
How
so
much
much
and
already.
how much is in there? And so
Oh,
when I
so
first started,
much.
we didn't have half of what we've got now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the detox list, you can detox yourself off
Oh, of
viruses,
metals.
bacteria, metals, parasites. There's
Yeah.
there's support in there. So anywhere from ADHD support, menopausal
Yes.
support,
Yeah.
there's trace minerals in there. The ultimate emotions is beautiful
Yeah.
because People are all upset. It goes on and on. Homeopathics is in there. There
Oh,
is
essential
flowers,
oils.
essential oils, the bush flowers now. I mean, the bush flowers. I mean, I
Oh,
actually have them. You've
I
seen.
love them.
I didn't even know about them until I got into Solex. And yes, I've got every frequency for every bush flower, but I still like the tinctures.
Yeah.
I still like to do both, but it's not hard to learn. People get overwhelmed, and you've been testament that you just got on and done it.
Yeah.
And we have the university, you can watch the videos
Yeah.
and it trains you. And then you got people like us around that we just help, pick up the phone or get in the group, and somebody will help you, because it really is. You find that the more you scan,
Mhm.
the more you stay in balance,
Yeah.
the more you start showing up better for yourself, for your family, you're
Hmm.
happier. Even the voice scan
Yep.
is just, it lifts you up, because that's what we want to do, is lift our vibration. We're not be down there,
That's
not vibing well. It lifts you up, and I don't often even look at the results. I just listen to my
yeah.
music,
And just do the optimizing. Yeah.
optimizing, knowing that it's keeping. And when I do need to stop and have a look, I'll go, oh yeah, there's that cholesterol again. Okay, it's popped up again. Yeah, I didn't eat very well. Blah, blah, blah. It's kept me off anything. I don't need to be on stuff.
Yeah, and it
I
brings
know
up
what's
different foods that so
yeah,
like,
basically,
and it's not saying that, oh no, you're allergic to that food, you can never eat it again. It's just saying, okay, maybe you had a lot of butter or something, or a
yeah,
lot of a particular fruit. Like I love nectarines. So nectarines came up because it was like, oh, okay, maybe you just need to have a break. So you just have a break for like a day or two, and then it goes away. It's not high anymore. But
very,
yeah, it's just
very helpful.
incredible.
Yeah,
And what I'm blown away by is that how he went to so he went to this fair or something, didn't he? And he came across these Russians who had created this incredible
yeah,
software, and he got permission to have the rights to sell it and stuff like that. And it's literally was a $30,000
yeah,
machine.
yeah, exactly.
And he has converted that $30,000 machine to an app that
Yeah, I
you
know.
can have on any device. And so that means that anybody out there can be a healer. You don't have to be a psychic. You don't have to have any special abilities. You
No,
can help heal people.
and
You could, you can use it just for your family and friends if you want to, or you could start a healing business like you have with frequencynurse.com. I'll share your link down below, and where you do scans for people,
yeah,
and you can make money from that. So it's an amazing tool that you can use for your family and friends. But if you want to make money from that, you've got the opportunity to make money from it as well. And then, like you said, if you just share it with three people and they join up as well as an active subscription, you're not even paying for it. You're getting it for free. So
even
it's just
even the voice scan, that the tunes we listen to, and
yes.
people will understand when they have a go at this. But we just put your voice in. It's like the lie detector. It actually works the same technology, and all the octaves and notes will tell us what emotions you're sitting at, and it's kind of like you get to the root cause really quickly. But the beautiful thing is you're giving someone an email with tunes to listen to that are a sound healing, and we all know that sound contributes a lot to changing our state. If we put on a music that we like, or if there's a sad song we cry, or
Yeah.
it's a similar thing, but it's targeted to four frequencies, three too high and one too low, the down and dirty low. And when we listen to them, we instantly start to feel better.
Yeah,
So
because it's specifically for you and what you need.
it's for you.
Yeah,
It's not you or you or you. And every day it'll
it
change.
changes. Yeah.
Changes. You tend to
Well,
get,
even the morning and the evening, you can do it any time of the day. And I
yeah.
think Lawrence, he said that he does it like morning, maybe midday and evening or something like that, doesn't he?
The more you do it, the
Yeah.
better you are. In the middle of the day, if you're feeling a little bit out of sorts, just quickly do a, 30 seconds, listen to your
Yeah.
tune and move on for the day. And, you can set up a business just by selling people binaural beats,
Yeah.
like $49, and I can send you a report that is going to show you that the areas that you need to show up in, whether it's anger, whether it's, upset and sadness, whether it's unconditional love, whether it's spinning around on a hamster wheel, it's actually telling you. So not only are we helping you with the frequencies, but we're making you aware of what you need to work on.
Yeah,
If
and it shows your chakras and
chakra,
meridians. So
oh,
which meridians are out, and it helps to correct all of that. I mean, it's just
it is, and the more people, honestly, that we can get this to, it changes the frequency of the world. And I, when I got that in my hand, I'm like, what if everybody had one of these? Like,
oh my
I didn't
God.
even really know much about energy and frequency, but I thought that must be good because it's going to change the frequency of the world. And I didn't even know. After that, everybody's been telling me that the world's dropped, that people have, actually done it on purpose, almost to dumb us down a bit, to make us unwell. So we're trolling
Yes.
off. But that is the philosophy of Lauren and his business. He
Mhm.
didn't want this to be multi-level marketing because he thought that was like a bit bleh. And they said, well, well, it's not even that, it's just sharing it actually. And
Yeah,
he said, if you don't get people to share it, nobody will know what it is. And so he
exactly.
said, okay. And they came with him with a compensation plan. And he went, are you joking me? No, I give them more than that. So, I mean, as you've heard, I've done business before, and I'm like, what are you talking about, 45%? I'm only used to 3%, 5%, 9%. You're giving
Yeah,
people 45% every single month that they stay on it. Like
it's
normally you get that percentage at the top end when you bring them in, and then it drops. But no, 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 no. Keep them giving them, giving them, giving, because he wants us to stay connected and keep sharing, and
yes.
that's how it's growing, and it is growing. So there's a lot of more countries open. I've got people in England doing it. I've got people in Denmark, Italy, all over now. Because you don't even need to be open in the country because there's nothing physical to buy.
No,
I mean, there are, as you know, Paula, there's
there
beautiful
are.
to buy with color glasses, with chromotherapy. I can put my glasses on when I know that my self-esteem's running a bit low. It's the yellow gold, down
I mean,
to a
there's
good
the
headset,
special, yeah, special headset
special
here,
headset. That is
and
amazing.
and even this
Oh, you've got all your stuff. Is that, oh,
the
yeah, the infrared band. So
infrared band. That's right. And so you
that's that
turn. Oh, okay.
itself,
Wow, that's really bright. Yeah.
they're very
Put that on your wrist, and
yeah.
it's yeah, amazing. I put it on Scarlett the other day for a cold.
Well, you put it on. I mean, infrared, as we know, and I've got an infrared sauna now. I've got
Yeah,
the mat, which is my PMF mat with infrared.
yeah. I'm
They
coming over for that soon.
yeah, you need to give a session. But infrared, like when you put that on your wrist, you're actually dilating all the vessels that are putting your blood up and down, up and down. So it's good for cardiac, it's good for organs, it's good for clearing bacteria, out and viruses, and actually making your food and supplements work better.
Yeah,
And it's for pain. So if other girls get any pains,
yeah.
you can actually, my girls used to get, time of the month pains. They used to just put the little thing on it. So again, they're just bringing out things, I guess, to
And
help.
even the imprinting. So these are my
Yeah.
two favorite rings that I love to wear. One, it's got love written on it, and then this beautiful Larimar ring. So I actually cleared them and put them on my iPad, and
Yeah.
I imprinted. So in the love one, I imprinted love, and then in this one, I imprinted abundance and
Yeah.
wealth and success, and then because I wear them every day, and so it's just an incredible way
Yeah.
to carry that frequency with you all the time.
A lady down in Bridgetown jumped on. She had a crystal shop down there.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was a great idea. She said someone came into the shop with a headache
Yeah.
because it was hot and whatever. And they had sunglasses on. And she said, oh, I've got a frequency for that. 'Cause that's what we say. We've got a frequency for everything.
Yeah.
And she took the sunglasses off because they're silicone. So silicone, we actually have little blue dots in our sets,
Mhm.
Paula, that,
Mhm.
that we can imprint. I think you've seen them. We wear them, because they last for 3 days. But silicone is one that holds frequency. So some things hold frequency better than others, like water, crystals, diamonds are really good. But yeah, silicone. So she imprinted their sunglasses with headache,
Wow.
and they went off down the street, and they came back and said, what did you do? And I'll tell you the other story is I did a fair at this lady's, Crystal Lady's. She comes to Perth, once every 3 months, and I thought, oh, I'll go out there and take a couple of girls friends with me and show people.
Mhm.
And she was running around and she had a bee sting on her ear here. Really, it was red, and she was a bit bothered by it. And I just said, "Oh, come here, I'll just give you a dot." So I gave her one of our energy dots, and I imprinted it with insect detox. And I put it on her wrist. I didn't put it up here, put it on her wrist. And anyway, half an hour later, she come running back and she goes, it fell off because obviously she was hot and the sticky had come off. I
Yeah,
said, "Oh,
sweating.
sorry." She goes, "No, you've got to get it back on because it disappeared. And then as soon as it dropped off, it came back." And I said,
Oh, no
"Okay."
way.
And literally, I put the dot on and I watched the red disappear. And she come back at the end of the weekend. She said, "I don't know what this is, but I need to do it." And so, when you see things like that happen,
Yeah.
she's already in the world of, energy anyway. And she runs down in Bridgetown. She runs people get scans in her shop, and, she teaches all about it. And she's, a great advocate for what we're doing. She's actually one of the most, excited people about what we do,
Yeah.
This is what we need to make sure is people understand what's possible,
Mhm.
teach, support them on the journey, and you won't ever want to be without it. I mean, I say to people, you're not locked into a contract every month
No.
of, if you don't, you've got to do it for a year. No, if you don't want to do it, you're going away, which is kind of, you need it more when you're going away, but or you can't afford it, you stop it. But then people stop it and they go, "Oh, I need to get my frequencies back," because it becomes part of your toolkit in your
Yes.
home to keep yourself well. And then if you
Yourself
like,
and your pets.
and your pets,
Yeah.
your pets. I actually think the pet scan is going to get better this week because I think it's
Oh,
going to
okay.
explode because we've had vets on board for 2 years trying to get
Oh
the
my God.
dogs and cats whole body, because we've just got the vitals at the moment, so we can run tunes for them and we can look at
Yeah.
their bloods stuff, but not their body. But that I think I feel it in my gut. That's
Oh,
what's
that would
coming.
be so
I think
amazing.
Lauren said, this price will never go up. He has given up that so many times. I've met him when he came over here.
What did
Never,
you?
never. Yeah, he came over last year, and the year before.
Wow.
He said, "Never will I put the price up of this. I will just keep adding to it and adding it." I mean, we've got tuning forks on now. We've got
Yep.
mind sync now for affirmations. There's so much macro minerals, everything. It'll just keep coming. And look, we don't have to do everything every day. But if you
No.
just EZ scan every day, which is what, 6 minutes, listen to your music, move on.
Yeah.
It's not hard, is it?
It's
So
just incredible. And I'm so excited about the pet one because our pets can't tell us when something's wrong. We don't know what's always going on with them. And so I love doing I've got a little scan. I do it on my little Biscoff, my little Cavoodle, and my little Millie, my cat. And I even added my fish in because I've got a Siamese fighting fish. I've had this
object, yeah.
I've got this Siamese fighting fish, and they're only meant to live for like 2 to 5 years, apparently. I swear we've had this fish for 5 years and it's still going. But and I'm wondering, I'm like, what am I? Because I do send love to it a lot, and I say hello, and I'm like, "Hi, fishy, how are you today?" And I'm wondering because at one point I had this beautiful mandala sticker on the fish bowl, and because there's a whole imprinting with water and stuff like that, and so I'm just like, I don't know how this fish is still going because the fish actually had like a little
Not
a bad eye, and then it had like a tumor thing, and then it kind of self-healed and it went away, and I'm just blown away. But since I've got this since I've had the scanning, yeah, I've been scanning the fish and I've been scanning my daughters and
you can scan anything and everything, can't you?
yeah.
There's lots of pet stories. Like there was an animal going in on the Solex site, and they brought the dog on and everything because he was, he had a eye problem, and they were going to do surgery, and he didn't need it in the end. His eyesight came back, and there's lots and lots of stories of. And don't forget, like animals, there's no placebo, right? Like they don't know it's being done. I mean, I went and scanned a horse out in a paddock, in the Swan Valley here, and I had to sit under like a tin roof, and the internet wasn't too great, so I had to step outside into the heat. And I know as I was scanning this horse, and the horses were quite a way away, they were starting to come towards us, so they could hear it, and I didn't even have it on like as if you could hear, because you don't need to hear it. But what got me the most is when I turned round to the pond, there was a duck and all the four ducklings that were starting to come up. And I thought, no, surely not. And as it stopped scanning, they all stopped and they all tottled away.
No way.
Because animals can hear a lot more acutely
Yes.
than we can. And, why would we not want to help our pets?
Yeah, absolutely. And our home. I mean, you can take a photo of your home and it
Yeah,
will scan your home. And you can do EMF protection, you can do like spiritual protection on it, you
you're
can fill it full of. So when I got home from after visiting you in your beautiful healing room, I came home and I was like, okay, my energy feels a bit dense in my home. I love my home. I've made my home pretty and beautiful to make me feel good. But I was like, the energy just feels really dense in here. So I created a playlist and I'm playing it to the house. And it feels lighter and it feels more filled with love. And man, it's just incredible.
the
Everything.
great story. I don't know if I told you this one, Paula, but a girlfriend of mine in Geraldton who was in my last company with me, that's how I met her.
Okay.
And she's got autistic twins. And they're 21 now, but they were 17 at the time. And, like a 10-year-old. So, quite, like a lot of attention, a lot of issues, a lot of outbursts and so forth. And Gina, actually, the mum was a special needs, she was a teacher and she was a relief teacher. So she used to go, and you can imagine when you're a relief teacher, although a lot of them knew her anyway, but they, the routine's been broken because the teacher's
Yeah.
not there. And there, so there's a lot goes on. So she just decided to try this, for her girls, and it started, she found some amazing difference in their moods and in their outbursts, I guess.
Yeah.
And so she took it to the classroom that day, knowing that it was going to be a tough day. And all she did was run a frequency list of calmness and breathe free and love and all those things that we know, abundance and everything. And she left it on quiet because, as we would have to hear her. And it was all like quiet. And she's, oh. And then one of them kicked off, and it was like a domino, right? And they all were in a mess, and she had to calm them all down. And then she went and checked a bag, and it had switched off because she hadn't, the screensaver had stopped or something because she
Yeah.
was new to it and didn't know how to. And she just switched this back on, and then one by one, they all started to calm. And she's going, every school needs one of these, like
Just
especially special
imagine.
needs. Like, what if we
Yeah.
just did it for the whole school, never mind the classroom? And being able to have that, that control, I guess, in a moment to be able to help. And it doesn't always help, if we don't hit the right frequency, because there's lots to choose from. I mean, you look
Yeah.
at headaches.
A
There's
lot.
headaches, a cold headache, a hormonal headache. There's migraines, and when
Yeah.
you do them one by one, you go, oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. That's the one that suits that person. So, it's sometimes hit and miss, and we can't help everything.
Mhm.
Get down close.
Yeah, that's right. I know,
That's
it's
the
just
point.
absolutely incredible.
That's the point.
And well, we've got ADD that runs in our family, so I've tuned in the ADHD
Yeah,
to my daughters and stuff as well, and it's just so many things. But yeah, I agree. Like I feel like everybody, just imagine if the whole world was
I
using this, our
know.
frequency would be so high.
Yeah.
People would be treating each other differently and with more respect and
Respect
compassion.
and compassion. That's exactly what I feel as well. And
Yeah.
where it all started, the scale, the technology of bioresonance. I don't know if you've read this, Paulo, is, when the first men were in a space station up in space for 6 months, and they needed to find a way to check on the health.
Mhm.
And so that's how it worked. That's how they found this technology. So they used to scan them up in space, and then they would get the reports and read them and go, oh, that doesn't look good. And he did say he wasn't well on, because they can, so we just send them this. So they were sending frequency up, and it works by scalar technology, like Rife,
Yeah.
and it's faster than the speed of light. So it just lands straight away. I've scanned somebody like in Ireland, and they've gone, did that just go through my leg? And I'm looking at the scan going, oh, I just did your legs. So super sensitive people can actually feel it. Like Tash is one
Yeah.
of them.
Cash, she really feels it.
He knows when I'm sneakily sending her something. Are you sending me some love? I'm like, yeah, yeah. You know,
Oh,
really, really feel it. And the more
but
you
isn't
scan,
that beautiful though?
you feel it more and more. Yeah.
What a beautiful gift to be able to send to people that you love, or like your elderly parents who might be sick.
Parents,
Like
you know,
my
England,
dad's
that's
a bit, we're a bit concerned about my dad getting Alzheimer's because his mum got Alzheimer's and passed away. So, I can send him the Alzheimer's frequency and
there's so much you can do. There's a great homeopathic list for Alzheimer's when that came out by symptoms. So
Mhm.
we used to just have homeopathics. And if you're not a homeopathic, then
You
you go
don't know,
into
yeah.
Google saying, what do I use for this? And, it's another step that we had to do. Now there's like nosodes as well. And there's lots of courses that they run as well to teach us if we want to be bothered knowing. But we have a list of symptoms. And
Yeah.
so anywhere from ADHD all the way, have you seen the list? It gets
Oh,
added on,
it's
added on,
huge.
added on, and added on. But Alzheimer's was in that list when it opened. And one of the QLAs, the ladies who got it over in Queensland, she went to Mother's Day that day in a nursing home for her grandma, I think it was. And she just thought, oh, I'll try this. And she started to talk, and she hadn't talked for, a long time. So she started to, just wake up a bit, right? And the next day she came, she wasn't. But, what if you could just help somebody have a conversation with a loved one that they haven't had for a long time? Like
See,
we're not
that's so
looking to
special.
them to stand up and walk out and cure them, but if you
Yeah.
can change their state and you can make them calmer, that's
Mhm.
the problem with a lot of the Alzheimer's. They've got this it's like frustration because we don't know how much they're understanding, and they must
Yeah.
see people coming in and out, and suddenly for one moment they have some clarity.
Yeah.
That's a massive gift, right? To be
Yeah.
able to just put it on your handbag, switch it on, and not have
Yeah.
to attach them to anything, or it doesn't even have to be on long because it just lands in your body and your body
Yeah,
goes,
it's only a couple of minutes, most of them, that you only need to do it for.
and
But I also just love that this just gives anybody the ability to do it because, like with energetic healing work and Reiki and things like that, like it's such a beautiful
yeah.
ability to do that, but it does take a lot of concentration and focusing on that person. Whereas with this, you just set it up and you just press play and then you can go off and do something else. I'm just doing it while I'm working on my computer doing stuff, and I'm just got it playing in the background and it's just,
It is, and for lay people, I guess, who aren't in the world of it, and particularly when I first started, I mean, yeah, I intuitively do it as well, and intentionally, I should say. So when I'm scanning someone, if you intentionally do it, like prayer, or it's the same, or sending love, you can feel the love sometimes,
yeah,
it works even better almost. But there's people saying, oh well, I can shield you by this and that and the other, but I just have to press the button.
yeah,
I can clear if you come and have a session for an hour, I can get the meridians cleared. I can press a button.
yeah,
I don't have to think about it too much
yes,
because it's in there already doing it for me. And will it cure, clear it 100%? Probably not. But, it knows the emotions attached to the meridians. It knows the issues in the body that are going to likely to have the problem. We have them in there. We press the button, we walk away, and we know that the road pathways in our body. I didn't know about chakras and meridians.
yeah, all
I
of
didn't,
that kind of stuff.
Chinese medicine, we all know is incredible.
Yeah,
So if we can find a way, which he has, to enable people to do it simply without having to know all those things and be a quantum physician.
yeah.
Well, hallelujah. Thank you very much, Lauren. Who's next? What's it now? And we really do, well, I do particularly, Solex do really support people, like it's still a very new company. It's only 5 years in or something now. And that's new. That's very new. And they've troughed out a lot of stuff, but the support that I get is great. And I give great support, because it's why wouldn't I want to help people use it as much as they can and as well as they can, because it's going to help them feel better. So
Absolutely. Well, we might have to wrap it up there, but I have enjoyed talking to you so
good.
much, Katie. I really appreciate your time. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to catch up again and talk about some more different types of healings and there's just so much we could
So
talk
much,
about.
so much. I'd love to, and thank you. I really appreciate you, you know, jumping into this with just such passion, and being able to have people like you sharing it is all we want, and also having a friend like you
Yeah.
living in the corner and Yeah, let's keep chatting to people. What we don't know, right?
Yeah.
I didn't
And
know
and,
back
and I think
then.
just awareness
It's
is so
awareness. I didn't know what
important.
oxidative stress is, and now I could, lecture you on it. And that's really important. So, what we don't know. So we're here to teach anybody that wants to listen and,
Yeah.
show you the way. So thank you, Paula.
That's okay. Well, I'm going to share all of your information down below, your YouTube channel and your website and all of that. And yeah, thank you so much. I've loved this.
Pop in and
Uh,
have a session with me.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All
All right,
right.
beautiful.
Well, thanks so much for everybody for tuning in.
Have a lovely day.
Bye.
Bye.